Every morning is an opportunity to connect with Jesus. Whether you're looking to get started or looking to grow more, DDPC is for you. Join us as we connect with Jesus together.
Awesome. Hey guys, I'll be right back. I jumped on Cornerstone's Instagram and I got to get on mine. Give me just 1 second and here we go. All right. And live. We're going to connect with Instagram right here, right now. All right. Good morning and welcome everybody to Daily Devotion with Pastor Chris. I am your host, Pastor Chris, and it is a joy always to be with you and to get around this time together, this digital living room, and get into the Word of God. Good to see so many of you jumping on already. Sorry, Instagram, I accidentally jumped on our Facebook account. I mean our church account first, and our because of our grid, and I do this every day. They don't want my mug on the grid every single day of our Instagram feed, so that's why I do DDPC on my personal feed. So anyway, no big deal. Just moving right along. Well, here we are. It is 4th of July week, so some of you already have today off. Our office is closed today and tomorrow, so so we're excited to have a little bit of breather room, after a very intense week of VBS, and of course a wonderful day at church yesterday, and so grateful for that. And so if you have the day off, congratulations, enjoy it. Try to get some stuff done or just relax. And then of course tomorrow is Independence Day, and so we are just so thankful for the freedom that we have, not just in Jesus Christ, but also in our country, and what that means. So it's a good day. All right. Well, listen, I want to get right into our lesson for today. Interesting story that I read about. There's a place in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. There's an orchard out there. And at the orchard, it's called forgot the name of the orchard now, but but at the orchard they have this like site that you can go to called Mystery Hill, and at Mystery Hill they claim that there is a natural gravitational anomaly, meaning that you can watch that somehow that this spot on the earth, that water will flow uphill, that balls will roll up a ramp, that a swing starts here, but will only swing backwards and then back to its 90-degree angle so it's perpendicular to the earth. So it claims to be this site where there's natural gravitational anomalies. And so what happens is, when you go, you pay a fee and you go into this room. It's like a giant room that has activities, and the room appears to be level, but immediately upon entering, you are propelled into a downhill, like your body just goes into a downhill position, and so you're kind of walking at like a 20 to 30 degree angle, and then they pour water into a bucket and they lower a base. A base in the water will flow uphill, and balls are put on a track and they go up the track, and so visitors listen to this. They experience the pull. They can feel the gravity on them, and they experience this thing, and they listen in amazement as the tour guide explains that the room that they're in sits atop a gravitational vortex, and they claim that it's an area of highly dense metal or buried deep into the heart of the mountain beneath them, and it causes gravity to work in contradiction to the laws of nature. And it's quite impressive. Apparently, I've never been there, but what I did was I went on this site. I heard about this, And so I went on their site, and then I went on Yelp, and I went on TripAdvisor, and I was looking at a lot of people's comments about this. And what I learned was that it's quite impressive, that people enjoy it, that it's a great must stop. Some people called it mesmerizing, fascinating, and honestly disorienting. But the question is there really a gravitational anomaly that's happening? Are their claims real? There's certainly some evidence of things are not normal, but is it because gravity is working in an anomaly in this area? Well, it certainly is rooted to some measure to a known geological phenomenon of high density metals buried deep beneath the site of this old orchard. But the truth of the matter is the more and more I read, the more I learned that that the staff is just highly trained in these stories, and that simply that the room is actually the room is actually a series of optical illusions. And they in other words, both the track and the pipe were actually slanted just slightly downhill. Fixtures and furnishings and trims, etc., were shifted just a little bit and meticulously designed to create the appearance of a level room, while causing you to have to actually walk at an angle. And so visitors to Mystery Hill are what this whole thing centers around. Is, as a visitor, you're asked to believe a story that contradicts an established law of science, that being gravity. Excuse me. So, I got ice in my mouth. So you go there, you go to Mystery Hill, you pay your money, you have this experience, you hear this wonderful story, and because you are experiencing something, you are enticed to believe a story that contradicts a law. And the lesson is that when we give a choice between a law of nature and a story that contradicts that law of nature, we should believe the law of nature. So what does that have to do with us in our Christian walk? Well, we live in a world today that is entrenched in what I would call suggested anomalies. That's what I call it, a suggested anomaly. In other words, you and I are being fed a story. You and I are being told a belief system or a lifestyle, or we've been told politically acceptable viewpoints or agendas or hypotheses as truth. We're being fed these ideals, but we're being told that they are truth, even though we know that the truth is quite contradictory. But if enough people, and it's argued as who's actually said this, but I've also heard that Hitler say, if you tell somebody something enough times, tell somebody a lie enough times, they will begin to believe it. And this is what's happening to our society. They are told to believe something that is against what is natural and normal and truthful, and being coerced to believe that as truth. It's a suggested anomaly. And because people's dogma is enthusiastic, right? Because they have conviction when they speak, because they are spirited when they tell you, and they speak with such conviction in their heart, we accept their belief system as truth. For instance, let's take evolution. To this day, evolution is not taught as law. It is the theory of evolution. You can have a theory on anything. It is a theory of evolution, and it presents us with a dilemma. As the story goes, it took millions and billions of years. First, you got to prove that the earth is billions of years old, which you cannot. It's about 6,000 years old. But anyway, I want to get into the weeds of that. But you have to accept a million year or billion year earth, and that humans have gotten better and better and increasingly advanced as a species over time, that they have gotten, that they have done more to, that they have elevated over time. And the problem with the story is that is that this theory is in direct contradiction to a law of science, namely the law of thermodynamics, the second law of thermodynamics, which talks about entropy. And entropy is just our it's our trajectory toward disorder, right? That's what it means. Entropy means that when you that the longer you leave something, the more it destroys itself. It becomes destructive, right? Murphy said this in Murphy's Law. He said, anything that can go wrong will go wrong, right? I mean, how many of us have said that? If it could go wrong, it will go wrong. Well, that's one of Murphy's laws, right? If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And what he meant was the second law of thermodynamics, entropy, realizes the annoying tendency of life to cause trouble and make things difficult. I was watching a video or like a movie short called what is it called? I was just watching it last night. It's called I forgot the exact name, so I would get it wrong. Something like the Pill of Life or something like that. But it's on I don't even know. Oh, it's on Prime. Is on Prime, and it talked about how they were talking to this indigenous tribe, and they were asking them what was the number one killer of their tribe in the 2000s, and they had all these different women. They were together. There's probably 40 of them, and they said, oh, diabetes, heart disease, and cholesterol, things like that. And then they said, well, okay, let's back it up. What in the 80s, what were the number one things that were killers of your people? And they were talking about different things that killed them at that point. It was again, I was so tired when I watched it, but the point was that nowadays everybody's dying from inner health problems. Back then it was like diseases like malaria and things like that. And they said, well, okay, so 75 years ago, 100 years ago, what was the number one killer? And they were like accidents, murder, people, rival tribes, things like that. So the point that that show that I was watching was to talk about how the food system has been so contaminated that it's our food that's our killer today. But it proves the second law of thermodynamics, entropy, that given time, society will kill itself. We are naturally prone to destruction, right? And because we live in a dying world, and we live with a sinful nature, right? And so, and the enemy's the prince of the power of the air. He has the ultimate power of the earth. So he is out to steal, kill, and destroy. So all this makes sense, right? I mean, haven't you noticed that problems seem to arise all by themselves, right? Like you can plan and you can try all but nobody has to provoke a problem, right? Problems just happen. Solutions, on the other hand, always require our attention. Problems never require our attention. The solutions do. Solutions require energy. Solutions require effort. Solutions require discomfort. They require hard talks. They require humility. They require time. They require willingness, right? So solutions require something of us, but problems just pop up all over on by themselves. One of the most simple ways I can explain this is if you like to garden, or if you like to design flower beds, like landscaping, to make your garden effective, or to build a beautiful landscape, to have beautiful flowers and beautiful contrasting colors that highlight your home or whatever, it takes time. It takes a lot of, sweat equity. It takes attention to detail. It takes money. It takes thought. And then once you get all the beds planted or all the garden, hoed out and the seeds planted and the fence built to keep the deer and the rabbits out. And once you get it all set, then you've got to do the work of watering the plants and feeding the plants. And guess what you're constantly doing? Weeding the beds. You're constantly pulling weeds out of those beds. You didn't plant those weeds. You didn't plan those weeds. Those weeds come up all by themselves. And if you do nothing with the beds, if you do nothing with your garden, guess what? Those weeds will absolutely come in, and eventually they will take over and destroy and overrun your garden and overrun your landscape. This life we live, it never seems to just work itself out for us, right? I mean, am I wrong? It's constant attention. It needs our attention. Why? Because of entropy. We have this natural desire to fall apart. If anything in our life becomes more complicated and gradually decline into disorder rather than remaining simple and structured. So back to our illustration, you may be tempted to believe in a gravitational anomaly because somebody has a very convincing story. But the truth is that it's an illusion. It's a form of entertainment. It's not real. Its attempt is to convince you that it's real. But you were, and the same is true with evolution or with some of the hot buttons of today, right? Things that we are being coerced to believe in, that if we don't accept them, these belief systems as solid and true and give equal right to people's perversions, then we are considered bigoted or hate mongers, right? But the truth of the matter is, or even with evolution, right, to believe that we were created by a creator, which has empirical evidence. I mean, there's mounds of evidence that are just ignored because so many people want to believe the suggested anomaly of evolution. So, but understand, you were fearfully made, wonderfully made, created in the image of God with the capacity to worship him, with the capacity to hear his voice, to house his spirit, and the ability to wield the tools to overcome the enemy. He has preserved and given you his written word that has survived millennia with all the attempts to outlaw it, to burn it, to blow it up, to destroy it. Yet you still have access to what is still the most widely sought after and the most widely sold book in the world. God has given you the truth in his word, and the truth will set you free. Don't believe into a suggested anomaly. Believe the truth. Don't get duped into believing a ruse. Given the choice between the law of nature and a story, which will you choose? As for me and my house, we're going to choose to serve the Lord. We choose life. I choose Jesus. Amen. So yeah, so I read that little illustration and I thought, man, people go, they get entertained, but some people walk away literally believing that there's this gravitational anomaly on the earth. It's not there. It's folklore, and it is a entertainment spot, and it's fun and it's neat to do, but don't go around telling people something that's not true. And that's the truth about anything. Maintain the garden of your heart, maintain the flower beds of your life, pull the weeds out, separate the wheat from the chaff, make certain that things are cleaned up and that you're putting the effort into your own spirit. So I just wanted to encourage you in that today. I hope that shows you or gives you some direction for this week. In the meantime, I want to just give a shout out to my dear friends, Thomas and Colette Jagoda, for Tara Menard. Good to have you on. Kim Sikelski, Lauren Lopez on with us, Rich and Carly Papsco, Eileen Thoma, Lauren Green, Michelle Rodriguez, Michael Ray Willis. Yes, Dad, answer your question. I will be live tomorrow on the 4th of July. So thank you for asking. Scott Blakeman on with us, Kim and Joe Sikelski, Betty Diaz, Narda Allen, Jacqueline Campoli. Good to have you with us as well. Scott and Janetta Dobler, Betty Diaz, Anne Marie Griffith on today, Melissa Morse. Good to have you. Let's see, Daniel Lozovikas and Graciela. I don't think Graciela's with you, but I'll give a shout out to her anyway. Tina Poe, good to have you with us today. Yvonne and Denise LeBlanc. I say that about Daniel because he usually watches me while he's driving to a job. So that's what he tells me anyway. So good to have you on, Yvonne and Denise. God bless you, Deb Click. Good to see you today. Nice to have you on, Deidre Mitchell. I saw you at church yesterday. God bless you. Let's see. Good to have Marty Main. How are you healing up? I hope you're doing well and recovering well from your surgery. Don Olette, good to have you on with us. Angel Marie Canfield, good to have you today. Mike B on today. Good to see you, buddy. Jenny Lynn, God bless you. Author Jenny, nice to have you on. Athena Detlef's on today with us as well. God bless you. Cindy Wood, nice to see you, my dear Aunt Cindy. Good to have you on today. God bless all of you guys. Renee Galuza on this morning. God bless you. And Priscilla Caraballo, you and Carlos and the tribe, the Caraballo tribe. God bless you guys, man. Just such dear people, man. The Caraballos really, really just invested in our lives and always an encourager. God bless you guys. Let's see who else we have here on the Insta world. I've got Tony Fecciadori. I have Robin is on with us. Diane Riley. Hope you're feeling better, Diane. Mark is good on with us. Kathy Lakowski, Kelly Robertson, Esther Grantham, Krista McAfee, Samantha Endress, Izzy Ortiz, Jeanette Lynn Willis is in the house. Good to have you. Shannon Schmidt-Heine, good to see you. Heather Onofrio, nice to have you on as well. God bless all of you guys. Thank you for being on today. And I hope, oh, good. I'm glad you're doing well. God bless you. Listen, guys, I will be on tomorrow morning, but if you're traveling or if you're unable to jump on live, have a happy 4th of July and just be safe and enjoy the freedom that we share in this great country. All right. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. God bless you.